All right, and back on the Jim Miller for President Sports program, and Ryan, it's the big game now: Bears versus Packers.
This is gonna be good. I'm kind of excited.
My Bears are kind of excited. What are you talking about, man? This is for the Super Bowl. This is for all the marbles of the NFC, man.
I know. It just doesn't feel like it.
I know, right?
Because to me, all the teams in the NFC and really the AFC that were supposed to win the Super Bowl have lost already.
Yeah, exactly.
On the AFC, the Patriots, they lost already. The Falcons, they got blown out at home by a quarterback that got hot. Mm-hmm. Michael Vick, can he? No, the Packers pass rush gets that done. All the really good teams lost already, and now we're stuck with Green Bay, who, in my opinion, was junk most of the season. I mean, really, they had bad games a lot of the time. And they were 10-6, which is obviously, to win 10 games in the NFL, I still think is an accomplishment. But at the same time,
I mean, they're injury plagued, and
they had so many injury problems, and they lost their running back out of the gate. They lost Jermichael Finley, the big time tight end, out of the gate. Big time linebacker Nick Barnett was knocked out, and these guys weren't like, they'll come back in a few weeks. No, put on injured reserve, done.
Yeah.
For the entire season. A lot of their really great players.
Yep. So
then all these third and fourth string guys come in and start playing unbelievable.
I know.
It's really impressive, the job that Mike McCarthy has done. I don't know if we ever posted any of the shows where I just took time to demolish Mike McCarthy.
Oh, yeah, I remember those days.
But, I'm kind of starting to warm up to him.
Yeah.
I'm kind of starting to like him. He's got the Packers playing, the right way. They're very aggressive. Mike McCarthy, he's not a high-energy guy. He's not a big, kind of a pump-up guy, and that's why I don't like him. He doesn't have any charisma.
Yeah, he's not.
But he's got a very high football IQ, knows his X's and O's, and he's very, he doesn't have any charisma, like I said, so he's very grounded. And I think he keeps his players focused from week to week. And, because it's a rare skill to be kind of average all season and then get hot and go to the NFC Championship game.
Right.
Because, in my opinion, it was just a feat to make the playoffs this year for the Packers. They were 8-6. Their quarterback had a concussion, missed a game. And all of a sudden it's like, what's going on here? But they're able to string it together, win their last two games, get into the playoffs, go to Philadelphia and beat Michael Vick with the running game, which is kind of weird. Yeah. James Starks, guy that came out of nowhere.
I really like James Starks.
Yeah, I do too. I was actually at the Packer game where he kind of had his breakout performance.
Yeah, 70 yards.
72, 73 yards, something like that. Got some good carries. It was exciting. That was a good game. That was my first ever Packer game.
First ever?
Yeah, in the cold. I went to a preseason game, but that almost doesn't count.
Yeah.
But that was exciting. And then, they get hot. You beat Michael Vick with the running game, like I said. Then you go to Atlanta, and Aaron Rodgers only has, one of the best quarterback performances we've ever seen.
It was one for the ages down there, man. That was unbelievable.
31 out of 36 for 366 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. I memorized that stat line. That's how pumped I was about that as a Packer fan. And, they're really good. I didn't see this. Even when they made the playoffs, I was kind of in off-season mode. They're going to lose in Philadelphia, and then we just, start getting ready for the draft. I was done with 2010. But then they win in Philadelphia, and I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's see what we can do. And we're in the NFC Championship game. It's very, very exciting.
And, just imagine how this team would be if they were healthy. I mean,
it'd be unbelievable. 13-3. And they would have this game would be in Lambeau. It's that simple. But they're really, really good players are, injured. And you got to give the Packers, Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy in particular, for weathering the storm and,
Yeah, definitely.
And getting in the NFC Championship
It's been
game.
Unbelievable. It sounded like you had a stab against the Jets again earlier. It was just a feat to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's like the Patriots.
Yeah, I know. So then
it's got some nice feet.
That
was great. I loved
the Wes Welker
seeing
thing.
that trash talking and all that.
But enough about the Packers, because all I do is talk about the Packers sometimes.
And then we got the Bears.
The Bears.
The team of destiny, people have called them.
In Chicago, where you live.
Things have gone right for them from week 1 with Calvin Johnson's touchdown.
I can't figure it out. Can you help me? Because you're a Bears fan. Maybe you can help me. Jay Cutler is
Yeah, he's across your fingers type of guy.
But you know what?
It's like Rex Grossman.
But I'm tired of people saying that because in the last 8 games he's been really consistent.
Exactly.
He's only had a few picks, and they've won a ton of games, and they're in the NFC Championship game, for Christ's sake. He must have done something right.
Yep.
You know, but all season they've been kind of
Well,
the defense at times was awful. I mean, they let Seattle beat them. And Seattle was 7-9, and then got blown out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't say anything about the Bears that they blew out Seattle. It just says, well, what the hell was going on in Week 6 when you lost?
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line, what an improvement they made.
I mean, they were terrible.
The Week 6 where they gave up 6 sacks on Cutler.
And then that game against the Giants, which was like 9 sacks and a half or something.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous.
And Cutler got the concussion.
So not a very good offense. No receivers. Devin Hester and Johnny Knox, please.
Yeah.
Their only deep threat is Greg Olsen.
Yeah, Greg Olsen has been great during the playoffs. So I mean, 3 plays into the Seattle game, got a touchdown, got the fans into it, and they really never looked back after that. It was kind of getting a little iffy at the end. It was just like, oh, the defense isn't finishing, and they gave up 2 more touchdowns. If that was a closer game, they would have been beaten by Seattle. I mean, minus the first 2 touchdowns, that game would have been tons closer.
What's really the key to the game when you look at this, do you think?
Well, it's going to be cold at Soldier Field. There's probably going to be some bad weather. I think
nothing.
The running game is key in this one.
Yeah,
so,
for Chicago especially.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a good cold weather quarterback. I mean, you have to be if you're playing Green Bay, obviously. But
I saw the numbers on Aaron Rodgers in games of fewer than 30 degrees. He's 7-3. His quarterback rating is like 103 or something.
Yeah.
Doesn't care.
Yeah, it was like Tom Brady at Soldier Field.
Yeah.
I mean, we might see some similarities there between.
Oh yeah, and the Bears got blown out by New England late in the season.
Yeah, so
which just
that's another.
Both of these teams. I'm not gonna say Green Bay. Oh, they're so good. They got to the NFC Championship game because they deserved it. Both teams were really bad.
Yeah.
At times this season, and now they're playing for the NFC title. What the hell is going on with the rest of the NFC?
I know.
Oh my God, it's crazy. But the cold, I don't think matters. It's Green Bay.
These are men. They're playing a man's game.
In 2 of the coldest cities in the the 2 coldest markets in the country, Green Bay and Chicago. Green Bay plays at Lambeau Field. That's kind of a cold weather, stadium.
Well, that's where the Ice Bowl was played.
So. Yeah. It wasn't that cold.
Yeah, it wasn't that cold.
Whatever.
It wasn't that big of a feat. Yeah.
And I went outside at 5 a.m. this morning to get the newspaper, and it was -4 degrees then.
Yeah, I was watching the forecast this morning. They said it's going to warm up by Sunday for the big game. It was going to be in the 20s, they said, but see if there's snow or not. But Cutler got it done. And
there's your weather update brought to you by the Jim Miller for President Sports Program.
Hey, it is broadcasted on the Better Weather Channel, is it not?
Oh, man, we should never tell anyone what that stands for. Whoops.
Well, not really knowing so much as that.
The biggest thing in this game is, Aaron Rodgers sinking or swimming with me. He can play in the cold. He doesn't really like playing the Bears. It's not even funny. Fantasy football owners, they probably bench Aaron Rodgers every time he plays the Bears. He throws for 112 yards a game against them. Now he's had some big games against him this year. Threw for 226 in the game in Week 17. And then he threw for, I believe, 312-ish, which is a lot of yards against them in Week 3 when they lost the game. So, and both of these games have been really close. I mean, think about it, the Packers got into the playoffs on a Jay Cutler interception.
Yeah.
So just on the skin of their
very
teeth.
familiar sound of that, the Jay Cutler interception to end the game.
Yeah. And then, of course, you go to, when the Bears won their game in Week 3, it was just a fumble by James Jones, and then the Bears have very favorable field position and kick the field goal to win the game.
Yeah.
So it's they're coin flip games. Green Bay's favored on the road by 3.5. I mean, the lines on these games, these last 2, I don't know what the line in Week 3 was. If you know, comment.
Email us.
Right. But, the game in Week 17, Green Bay was favored by 9.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out why.
I know. And we both picked Chicago in that one.
Yeah. The Bears won the division, and, they're, a better, at least had the better record overall.
Yeah, they weren't resting their players either.
So, and they said they weren't going to rest their players, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And yet no one
Everyone
believed
was still
Lovie
asking
Smith.
the question.
Well, are they going to rest their players? Lovie said they weren't, so they didn't. Yeah.
You never really know what you're going to get out of Lovie Smith, you know.
Don't
Rex
you?
is our
I think he's
quarterback.
pretty straightforward.
Oh, yeah.
Rex is our quarterback, and then he played every time he said that.
True.
And he was
True.
terrible every time.
Yeah, so.
You know,
Yeah.
brutally honest. And, you know, now if you were the Bears, you've got a defense that's playing really well, a quarterback that seemingly has overcome his interception issues.
Mm-hmm.
Your offensive line is playing better. You're at home. It's going to be cold as hell. You won the division. How
Yeah.
are you not favored in this game?
It's recent history that really kind of shows us that, you know, no matter how you look at it, the Packers, they seem like they're going to have a better shot, you know? I mean, it's going to come down to who makes less mistakes. And the Bears in the past have always made more mistakes than the Green Bay Packers.
Now, we kind of went off. We forgot to, or whether we forgot to or not, we didn't pick these games in that New Year segment. So do you want to pick these games at the very end of the preview?
Oh, yeah, we'll
Each
do
time?
that.
I
Yeah.
think we'll do that now? Okay. Because we were I thought we were going to have a segment just to pick both games and do stuff, but I guess not.
Well, as you hear our production right on the air. But
That happens all the time.
yeah.
Oh, well. I think it's nice to air things out. I think the listeners like to know that we have discussions. We don't just come out here and run our mouth.
Yeah,
we used
it might
to.
seem like it.
We used to. We're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all right, we're going to talk about this, this, and this. Tim is like, I have no idea what I'm doing. All right, go.
Yeah, that's really why I struggle, but
So,
you know, I still do sometimes.
and I mean, so Green Bay's favored. It's cold as hell. Jay Cutler's playing better. The defensive line with Julius Peppers, with Tommy Harris. Who's the guy on the other side? Is it Adonijay?
Yeah, Israel Adonijay.
Israel Adonijay. I think they're going to get after Aaron Rodgers in this game. I think Aaron Rodgers cools off in the negative temperatures at Soldier Field. I think the Bears are going to go to the Super Bowl. I just
Wow.
I don't know why. The Packers scare me every single week, and because they just do. I don't know why. I just feel like I'm going to pick against them because the Bears are at home, and I think the Soldier Field advantage just has enough to do with it. I think that Bear Down Chicago Bears song is so stupid.
It is.
And it's just gonna and it makes
It's like
my
Go
blood
Cubs
boil.
Go. You know? It's like
the Chicago sports teams have the worst songs. Go Cubs go.
the Blackhawks are the only team that have really straightened their stuff out. But I think Chelsea Dagger's probably going to get old after a while, maybe. But.
No. that song is awesome.
Yep.
So I'll take the Bears. I mean, they're at home. Jay Cutler. The defense is going to get after Aaron Rodgers, and I think Cutler is ready to assert himself as, you know, saying, "Hey, I'm here too."
Yeah. I mean, everyone's been so skeptical about the Bears all season. They never looked at them as a legitimate Super Bowl contender this season, and they're still not. Everyone is still picking the Packers.
If you rank the teams 1 through 4, they're 5.
I mean, I was watching Colin Cowherd on ESPN today, and he's still, like, ripping Jay Cutler. Just like, oh, the playmaker, Jay Cutler. He always comes up with the big plays, right?
Can I say something about Colin Cowherd?
Oh, sure.
I love listening to him. I hated him today. I don't know why. He was on my nerves today.
Yep.
He's never been on my nerves like that in the 2 years I've been listening to him. And he just pissed me off today. So, if you know about him, send him some hate mail. Because all he gets is hate mail. He's the biggest jerk in sports talk, and that's why I love him.
Yeah.
Because he's a total prick. And that's why he's, in my opinion, the best.
Yeah, well, I think I've always been an offensive line guy. I put so much focus on the offensive line, and
Really?
I do. I think that the offensive line is really more key than a lot of people think it is, and I think the game's really gonna have to. Oh, you're holding back laughter. Is this something that you're?
No. I just want everybody to understand before I let Tim pick the game. I have never heard him break down a football game, and he's actually doing it. I'm so impressed. God bless you. Okay, who's gonna win?
All right. Well, so I put a lot of focus on the offensive line in this game because the running game is going to be key. I mean, not only protecting the quarterback. We saw the Bears do a great job of that in the Seattle game. I mean, it was unbelievable how much time Jay Cutler was getting in the pocket. He could stand there for a full 7 seconds, and then he winds up the throw and just, like, launches it all the way down the field. It was amazing. So I think if the offensive line plays the way they do, Chicago will have a legitimate shot.
Who wins the game?
I was just getting to that.
We have 5 seconds.
I'm picking the Packers in this one.
Okay, it's ESPN.
recent
It's not
history.
even ESPN. It's BWC Internet Radio.